Halo Infinite, since you mentioned it, right? Halo Infinite, the same day, right, as when the new Caldera map for Warzone Pacific released, right? The campaign, right? The really anticipated campaign came out, right? I mean, remember, of course, Halo Infinite, right, was delayed a year. It was supposed to release last year as a launch title, right, for the Xbox Series X, and it got delayed a year, and now it's out. I've played it. I'm not exactly super far, but I'm probably about a good 5 hours in. That does include side missions, right? I'm literally doing everything I can, right? I'm not just going straight for the story missions. I'm going and doing everything in a wave, right? So basically, like okay. Put it like this: you have a world, right, with different points, right? And so say that there's a campaign story mission to the north, and before you go there, there's a bunch of side missions, right? I'm doing all the side missions as I head towards that campaign mission. That's what I'm doing, right? So that's why it's taking me a little longer. I just finished the conservatory. I just did that before we started the stream today. The game's pretty fun. I like it. I like it. I'm playing it currently on heroic. I'm going to at least see, because one thing I do want to know is if you beat the game on heroic or any other mode, right, and you upgrade your suit, does that upgrade carry on to the next mode? You know what I mean? Like if I do this all in heroic, can I take all my upgrades with me into legendary? Right? Because I think if you do it like that, if that's true, if it does work that way, then it would definitely make things a lot easier for legendary. Or I could just wait for co-op to come out and then I'll just do it like that. But the game is pretty fun. I do like it. It looks really good. It looks really good actually. It kind of reminds me of Destiny, honestly. It does remind me of Destiny because of that sort of open world, uh, you know, aspect of it, right? Where you can go ahead and do the missions that you want to do that are available, right? You could just go ahead and explore, and play as you wish, right? Obviously, you do need to complete the story, but there's other things you can do in the meantime, right? And that's pretty cool. I at first was a big fan of Destiny, right? I did support it, but after years of incompetence and years of stupidity, and I'm looking at you, Luke Smith, that game can go fuck itself, right? But I will say this: I do feel like Halo Infinite seems a lot more fun than Destiny. I'm having more fun playing this right now than when I first played Destiny, and it's not to say that it's a story thing, because obviously Destiny didn't have a fucking story, but it's one thing that is key to all of this, and it's the weapons. Halo just has better weapons. You understand? Like Halo just has way better weapons than Destiny. Period. Like you cannot sit here and tell me that Destiny, maybe aside from the Gallahorn or the Fatebringer,
I was about to say that the Gallahorn, you know.
yeah, other than that, it's not fucking with Halo's weapons, bro. And why? Because all of those weapons that Bungie set up for Destiny, those ideas come from Halo. You understand? Like that's the precursor to it. Those weapons that they invented for Halo are what they use to influence Destiny, right? Because remember, it's a space shooter, really. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what we're talking about here. It's a sci-fi game, right? So I actually like the campaign. I'm enjoying it. I do plan on finishing it. It's probably gonna take me a few more days. I haven't been playing it every day. But I try to go ahead and if I don't finish a story mission, I'll do all the side quests up to that story mission. So the next time I play, I just play the story mission. So now I just finished, like I said, the observatory, which practically is the excavation site. It's on the northern part of the map on the left side. Um, I just finished that, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and finish all the side missions from there, so I can finish that part of the map and just do it in a wave. That's what I want to do. But it got an 86, right? A lot of people are happy with that, and some people aren't. Obviously, the PlayStation trolls, they're having a ball with the fact that Halo Infinite got an 86 because obviously the hype made people think that it would be in the 90s. It did get a lot of hundreds, as you see on the screen, a lot of 90s, but it also got a 70 from Screen Rant. I don't know why it would get a 70. I don't agree with a 70. I think the game, depending on, how it progresses, and of course, what they do with the online and the season pass, which we'll talk about in a bit. I think that mid 80s, high 80s, low 90s, anywhere between that is fine. I think if the game is rated over like a 91 or a 92, I just think it's more fanboy shit. You know what I mean? Like I just think that, it's just to get attention. I don't think the game is less than an 85. I think giving it an 80 is kind of low. I think 83 and up, in between 83 and 91, 92, sounds about right to me. At 86, I could live with an 86. If it's an 88 or an 89 or a 90, fine with me. Honestly, in my opinion, those difference in points don't really mean much to me, right? I mean, how much different is an 86 rated game to an 87 rated game? You understand? So like that that's that's ridiculous. That's not even a talking point, really. And as you see on the user score right on screen, it's an 8.4. They gave, and the meta score is 886. So it's there. You know what I mean? Like how much different is 8.4 to an 8.6? It really isn't that much different if you really think about it. But I like it. I've been enjoying it. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of Destiny. I think as the game continues on, right? Because there will be updates. There will be DLC for this for sure. And I think it will kind of take that Destiny approach where it might be, sort of a live service kind of game. And that'll be interesting to see. We'll see what happens. But so far, it's fun. It's good. I would definitely recommend anyone that has an Xbox, right? Whether it's, Series S, right, or a Series X, or even a PC. Definitely check it out. Get yourself Game Pass, right? If you're on the fence and you don't want to pay the $60 or $70 to get the game, get yourself a month of Game Pass or whatever. Try it out, and if you like it, keep paying for Game Pass or just buy it, right? Then if you happen to have a PC, currently, right, they have Xbox Game Pass, right, for PC, 3 months for $1. That's what I did, right? And then obviously the multiplayer is free, so essentially I just paid $1 for Infinite. I mean, how could I possibly complain about that? And people could sit there and say, well, you don't buy games. I'm like, so what do you want me to do? You want me to not take advantage of what's being offered? They, I don't. Nobody gives away money, bro. You know what I'm saying? So like, if they're telling you, yo, you could get this for $1 for 3 months, yeah, why not? Right? It's only a fucking dollar, right? I spend that dollar fucking at the candy store or something, buying some M&Ms or some shit. Like just fucking do it, right? It's not going to take you 3 months to finish Halo Infinite, but if you can finish Halo Infinite within 3 months for $1, hey, I think that's a win. What do you think, bro?
About which part? The Halo thing? Well, the first
Yeah,
thing I want to cover is this. This is what I want to know. So if you got like 100 likes on this video, right? Will you buy the Nerf Galahorn from Destiny?
I promised myself I would never install that game again and play it again.
Come on, man! You got to get that Galahorn, man. That was really cool.
I mean, listen, man, like, and it's crazy because I already paid for all the seasons, right? When they released that last update, when it was the introduction of Stasis,
Uh-huh.
I forgot the name of that particular expansion update. I don't remember what it was called. Beyond Light, I think it was called.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds about right. Yep, yep.
I
Okay.
bought the Ultimate Pass, whatever the fuck it's called, that had all three expansions. I played the game for maybe about a month, maybe 2 months tops after Beyond Light, and never played it again. I quit playing it. I've been vocal about never playing that game again. So even though the Galahorn is back, I do not see myself going back to Destiny. I just
No,
don't.
I mean you gotta get the Nerf Galahorn, the toy thing.
Man.
You can go around, you pop people in your job or something. Probably use those aren't you those yellow sponges? Like, boop, 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 just hit people with them. Feel like a legend. But
Bro.
something though, one thing I was checking out about Halo, man. their music, man. I think they did really good job with their music. A lot of people were, claiming that they wish it was Marty back and this and that and stuff. But man, that I mean, the music for this Halo game, Halo Infinite, is really good. I was
Yeah,
listening to some other tracks, man, and very very sci-fi space. Like they really
they really
went
nailed
back
it.
to like the roots. Yeah, man. Like the atmosphere, the ambient sound. Because I always like that about games. That's usually what gets you hype is like the music and stuff. And gets you in that mood.
Yeah.
And definitely they did a great job. I really like their music. I do. There was one call, I think something about walking through the trees or something. I don't know if that's like the main theme for Infinite or what. But maybe it's not. I don't know. But someone posted that in one of their videos during a leak for the Christmas event they're gonna have
Hmm.
for Halo. And I was like, man, this is Halo. So I started like last night. I was like listening to their soundtrack, and I was like, man, this is really nice. They really definitely did a really good job. I think they did a really good job with their music. I like their sound effects. I really like it. Does bring back the old school sounds. I do. I do like that. And I from what I've seen so far, I haven't purchased it yet because I don't know. I just don't know when I have time to play. But probably when I do, I'll pick it up. Eventually, I will. But
Get it
from
on
what
Game
I've seen
Pass,
so
bro.
far,
Get it on Game Pass.
nah, man, I'm just gonna buy it outright because I like to throw my money around, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's true. You like throwing money at the screen, like Luke Smith
I
says,
throw
right?
Hey man, I gotta get those flames. I want to get the flame shoulder pads one day and my
Yeah.
flame head and walk around and flame on my ass or whatever, something. But I like what I saw. I think it's really cool. They definitely went back to it. Kind of reminds me, man. Some people say, "Oh, it reminds me of Halo 3." Man, it reminds me more of Halo 1. Honestly, it does. Like all the green, the vegetation, all that, the
Yeah.
atmosphere. It reminds me of Halo 1. I don't know why, man. Maybe it's the music, probably, but it really does, and it's really good. The online runs really good on my computer, so I haven't had an issue with it, like any stutters or frame rate drops. I have not experienced any of that stuff. It's been running pretty smooth. Um, what else? But other than
Well,
that, yeah, I like it. It's definitely something I will buy. I will buy and play when I have time.
one thing we do need to talk about, and this is something you brought to my attention. I'm gonna put it on the screen for those that are watching. We have this over here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. Um, this over
Oh,
here.
we will have, by the way, Christmas events for Halo. You're gonna get those ugly stickers you put on your armor and your
Uh
gun,
huh.
that crap. And I'm going to throw it out. I'm trying, man. I mean, the color skin, you're gonna have coatings, but it wouldn't surprise me if they'll have a helmet because the guy showed 3 tiers of the items really quick. But I want to say that I did see a helmet. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm like hallucinating it. But anyway, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a helmet with a hat with a Santa hat on. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do
It
it.
makes sense.
But yeah, you're gonna get the coatings for sure, and you're gonna get stickers to put on your gun and on your body armor and stuff.
So let's talk.
Jingle bells.
Let's talk about Sketch 343 and that post that he put on the Reddit
Oh
about
yeah, yeah, yeah.
about
His,
you
his
know
defense.
every person yelling at 343. I'll read it up. I can't reply to every person yelling at me 343 here, so I just want to share a few final things to take or leave as you see fit. When we have some updates to share, I'll be back. First, I'm going to stress again that I 100% understand and generally agree with the frustrations most are expressing, even if I don't agree with the attacks and ways in which some choose to express their feelings. Call me a shill, a liar, corpse sake, etc. as you want, but I've never lied to this community. I never will. And I'm not saying myself, or I'm not saying myself. I think he meant or 343 or victim in any way. That's yet another narrative some folks here have chosen to apply. It's my job to come in here, listen, frankly, take it on the chin, and despite personally being very put off by the way in which many are expressing themselves, still ensure that we're advocating for players internally. We do that regardless of it being positive or negative, and always will. And then, he's talking about Slayer and things like that. So it got so bad. that this happened. I'm not gonna read this whole wall of text, but what happened was that the subreddit for Halo, practically got suspended for what was it, like a weekend or something like that. Like they practically locked it
Yeah.
for a whole weekend because people were just losing their shit. You told me about this. What did you see about this? What did you see? Because I know this has a little bit to do also with that. I don't know if it's a rumor or if it's a leak that supposedly the season pass was supposed to be up to level 120. What did you see and what did you hear?
Yeah, this post had like different. It had like about three issues going on at the same time, and I think that's part of the reason why they closed it, because it was just, they were attacking this clown. I mean, this guy in different directions, and I guess you couldn't keep up with it. So issue number one was a season pass.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's true. I was actually looking for this video and I did find it, but me being a dumbass, I didn't save it. So there was an old video, I think before or maybe right when the game came out,
Mm-hmm.
with a season pass, and it did say 120. So that's where that came from. And well, that's not where it came from, but that was part of the proof. So there was a user who posted us some screenshots about it being 120, and they actually data mined it and they pulled it out of the game itself because I guess they forgot to change it or they left it in the game. So people were wondering, like, hey, WTF, where's all the reach armor? Because if you notice, you get a lot of crap, in the season pass. You get those things to change your challenges, XP
Right.
boots and all that stuff. And people were just upset because in the list of items that were supposed to be in the season pass, they took away some of their favorite helmets or favorite gear or shoulder pads or underwear or whatever. And people got really mad. They got super tight because it just made no sense. Like, why would you do that? Like, they should have kept it. But the reason was that they were going to sell it to you. So like a bundle or whatever, it costs roughly around either 10 to $20.
Right.
So imagine you're paying $10 for the season pass. So let's say let's use an example. They take Emmanuel's shoulder pads, the one with the stupid knife stuck to it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people like that. They think it's really cool. They wanted it. It should have been in the season pass, but now they're probably gonna set it in a bundle. So it's either gonna cost you either 10, 15, or $20 now if they put it
Right.
all together. Plus their stickers, or their keychain crap that you put on your gun. So people were upset about that because that's pretty greedy, and they knew about it, but they chose to go with the other way. Problem number two is that all the problems that the game was having, they knew about it firsthand, but they chose to go with this avenue of what we have now, with the online. That is not this is remember this is kind of not near to when the regular game was released, but it was with the online stuff, so they knew about it. So for example, like the GUI, the what do you call that crap when you choose your game to play, the
What?
playlist.
Oh, right.
So the playlist, right? So a guy was able to modify the GUI, some dude in Reddit, and made it a lot easier so they can able to select which Slayer or whatever thing you wanted to do. Because according to 343, you can't do that because the interface is like hard coded. The GUI, it's like hard coded, so they can't change it. It said, and if they did, it will be a big disaster. Things won't work, and blah 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 blah. So they got mad because they got caught lying about that too, because you could edit it. They just chose to go the wrong way. They
Mm-hmm.
knew about it. They talked about it, blah blah blah, and that pissed off people. And then the third one was that people want free stuff. They
Right.
want they want to play the game and earn armor. People want to earn coins.
Without even
Some
buying the
people.
battle pass either, right?
All right, no battle pass. They just want to get it for free. They want to just play the game and just in. I didn't play Halo 5, but did Halo 5 do that? I mean, they had
I
a
didn't
bunch of.
play it. I didn't play it. No.
From my understanding, I think they got a bunch of armor pieces, like 200 or whatever, 300, but a lot of them was pretty useless and they didn't look cool. So I think they try to steer away from that. But here's the kicker on this, man. And I learned this just like a couple of minutes ago, not a couple of minutes, but like an hour ago from this time. People complain about the customization. They didn't want it to be as Halo 5 or 4. They wanted to be limited, and I don't really understand this concept of what people were trying to make. But the whole point is that they were trying to limit it so you could not customize your armor because it was the player base that was purist.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want you to have this crazy armor, or they wanted you to have a specific armor. And how it falls on, from my understanding, is One group of people they don't want the crazy armor because it just took a toll on their computer, and then another group of people were purists, and it just didn't fit the lore. So they didn't want a Master Chief helmet with the rocket pack thing, so you can hover around, whatever.
Right.
They wanted to be traditional, like a Spartan, so everybody will look the same, So that's what they wanted, and I guess in this game, Infinity, I guess they went ahead and they kind of try to do that by giving us the core, and that's what happened. That's what we got now. So you have a core, and you can only attach certain items or
Hmm.
or
As long
whatever
as it
shoulder
belongs to
pad.
that core.
Exactly right. So the color, like even the color, which is stupid, like you can't, you have to get the color for each armor core, so you can apply that color, and it's the same damn shit. So
Yeah, that's stupid. The
that's
color should be universal.
yeah,
They should be
and
universal.
but the third issue, back to the other thing, was before I just jumped the rail right there, was that people want free stuff. They want to just play the game and get all these armor pieces without paying anything, and that's what they want. And that's what it was, and that was they kept bouncing back and forth from all the three topics, and then I guess they got tired and they just closed it because they were just attacking from from the mouth, from his behind and the front. So
Yeah, I mean that was crazy when you told me that they had to shut down the Reddit for a week, and I was like, holy shit, what the
yeah,
fuck is
yeah,
going on, man? That's pretty crazy, man. But
and it's interesting that they did with this new update. They're bringing back Slayer and all that stuff. That's what they're saying, right? And people were
mhm,
like, oh, they're praising it. They're saying, oh, they did it so fast and all that. Here's the deal, man. Of course they did it fast because they already have it there. It's not as complicated as they say. See,
right,
what people need to understand is that what they're trying to do is they're trying to make their game whatever they have now. They're trying to increase the length of what they have to offer. Because if when you look at the list of items that they have, okay, so let's say they do have 120 items. Most of these cars that don't work or whatever, they're gonna get all that in like maybe 2 days or 3 days, man, and then they won't have nothing to do, and then they'll go on Reddit or whatever and say, "Oh, I have nothing to do, so boring," right? And then they don't want to deal with that, so
right,
they're putting all these obstacles so you don't play. Because remember, the playlist, you have to do certain things on the playlist, right? Like in the game to complete challenges, right?
right,
So if you don't have, let's say, capture the flag on your playlist, well, you don't get to do that challenge today, right? So that's why they give you the
right,
little token so you can go and change it, and hopefully you can do the challenge that you have now. So it just makes it harder and more annoying to get the specific item or sticker or whatever.
right.
So you can, especially if you're one of those people who like to collect, or remember Bungie used to call them. They had a name for it in Bungie. Remember when you were a collector? It was another word for it.
I
When you
don't
want to get
remember, man.
every item, that
Completionist, I think it was.
completionist. Yeah, yeah. If you want to be a completionist,
Yeah, you want to
well,
be a
there you are.
completionist.
So that's why they have that sort of philosophy in their game, and they kind of admit it. People been talking about it. Like they knew what they did wrong, but they don't want to fess up to it. They're just plain stupid. Like, oh, we don't know what you're talking about, but they could do it. They just don't want to do it because then that's going to affect their profit. And
Right.
besides, they don't want to release all their stupid items at once. All I want is just big ass shoulder pads, dude. That's all I want. And but I don't think I'm gonna get it because I like the um what do you call it? I like the Core 7. I do like that. I like that armor better than the Mark 5. I don't know. I don't care for the Mark 5 that much.
Yeah,
But then
I
the
don't use Mark Five.
Mark 5 has kind of bulkier look. It looks kind of more OG, but I like the streamline of the Mark 7 more. I don't know why. But the Mark 7 doesn't get the big ass shoulder pads. So that sucks. So they basically said, screw you.
Yeah,
You're not going to
you
get
can't
one.
you can't get everything. That's practically what they're saying. I
Yeah.
don't know,
And you
man.
can't mix match it. And you could. I bet you could, but they just don't want to. And the reason they said they don't want you to, because they didn't want the armors to clip. You know how sometimes the armor, if it's too big, it'll start clipping through your armor? They didn't
Hmm.
want that. So that's why they made it that way.
Fuck it, man.
Okay, I'm pretty much done.
Speaking of Halo, right, and the 30th anniversary of Bungie, right? They went ahead and added some items, some weapons from Halo onto Destiny, and like I said, you asked me if I would go back, I wouldn't go back. But mind you, they added the battle rifle, And mind you, like I said, the reason I think Halo Infinite is a lot more fun than Destiny is because of the weapons and the fact that I know and I understand that it's Bungie, it's their creation in a sense, right? That that Halo is their game, but the fact that they would even want to put Halo weapons into their newest game goes to show you how good those weapons are. Because if those weapons weren't good, if they weren't iconic, they wouldn't do it. So that's something that has been added to Destiny, right? They did add all of these weapons, a 30th anniversary bundle that you do have to pay for, and some items are obviously behind that paywall, like the Yellowhorn. Um, but yeah, I think that, like I said, if you had to compare the two, I would probably give the nod to Halo. Their multiplayer is better anyway. It's always been better. So now it's just about the campaign, and it has that semi-open world, aspect to it, and I would probably, from my first impression, I'm enjoying Halo Infinite more. One, because Chief is OP. It's just different. Just the way he interacts. I mean, your guy in Destiny doesn't even talk. Chief is always talking. It's more interactive. The weapons are better. The enemies are better. I think it's better. I think it's better. But like I said, based on the fact that this was a Bungie IP, right, that no longer belongs to Bungie, but the fact that it's so important to Bungie that they added weapons from Halo onto their latest game, Destiny, tells you everything you need to know. But anyway,
Yeah,
oh
I agree. I think definitely they took the good approach with Chief, like you said, like his dialogue stuff. Like I noticed, like by watching some of the gameplay of other people and stuff, and during the cutscenes, most of his lines are actually more thought out now. Like when he
yeah,
says something, it's actually something kind of like meaningful. Like he has a point. But
yeah,
before, like I know in four because I played, he was a lot more chattier, and I think on the fifth one on Halo 5, I think he was also pretty chatty also. But in this one, they kind of went back to his roots where he kind of just talks when he needs to say something. Like
right.
he has to, like he has no option, and he has to like say, hey, whatever, some Master Chief, one liner, kind of like Vin Diesel type shit. But but
Yeah,
but yeah, I think definitely they. Oh, I just wanted to throw out that I forgot. So the first game that I know that is going to have the whole crypto thing is going to be Ubisoft company.
right.
They call it Digits. It's called Digits, and I think they're going to implement it with their next division game. Just a heads up. So that's going to be the first one. So that's going to be the first taste for like normies to get involved with all this stuff, and if they're they see how they handle it.
Fuck that, bro. Fuck that. But
Man, you want to get the Gallahorn, man. Get that Nerf one.
nah, I mean, like I said, I have everything. I have all the seasons. I have all of that shit there. I paid for it already. But I'm good, man. And speaking of Bungie, right? It looks like the CEO recently apologized for quote unquote pain caused by the studio's culture amid internal reports. So basically, Bungie is toxic. Um, I mean, hey, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of Luke Smith. I think he's a dumbass. I think he ruined Destiny when he took over. And just by his attitude, I can tell that this guy is toxic, man. You know, I'll never forget. He said, you're gonna want to throw money at your screen. I'm like, bro, like, come on.
You mean you want to once you see these items, you'll throw money at the screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yo, bro, like, get the fuck out of here, bro. So basically, what the CEO of Bungie, Pete Parsons, right, he released a statement saying, first, I want to apologize to anyone who has ever experienced anything less than a safe, fair, and professional working environment at Bungie. I am not here to refute or to challenge the experiences we're seeing shared today by people who have graced our studio with their time and talent. Our actions, or in some cases inactions, cause these people pain. I apologize personally and on the behalf of everyone at Bungie who I know feels a deep sense of empathy and sadness reading through these accounts. Speaking with the team at Bungie, reading the stories, and seeing both known and newly surfaced accounts, it is clear we still have work ahead of us. I am committed to it. We are not yet the studio we have the potential to become, but we are on our way. Whatever, bro. I understand that this is something serious, but I'm sure that this is something that's been going on for a very long time. Very long time. And I know Bungie is famous for crunch as well. And the fact that it's now 30 years later that you're saying something about this, come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, at least you're saying something, which is important. But I'm sure, and I don't want to, defame anyone or anything like that. If you ask me, personalities of people such as Luke Smith are fucking tools. The fucking douche. Just the way he comes off and the way he, presents himself, you can kind of sort of see like, man, this guy, he wants to be cool and and all this bullshit, and he might say, something may make a lewd joke or something like that, and nah, bro, so
That's that's probably why Deej left.
yeah, it might be why. It might be why Deej was there for a very long time, and that might be why he left. It might be. I don't know.
He knew
Uh,
this was coming down. The hammer's coming down. He's like, "Well, I don't want to be involved
yeah,
because I'm Luke Smith's best friend." So he just bounced. Just see
maybe,
ya. Peace.
maybe.
Peace out, dog.
I'm not gonna sit here and allege anything. I don't know. Allegedly, these are what's going on, but these are things going on. But I don't know. It is what it is, right? But
Yeah.
Bungie's
People are
under
gonna bounce.
yeah, Bungie's under the microscope now. We'll see what the fuck happens now. Let's continue on because we did have those Halo leaks. That video that you sent me, right? The leaks from the devs, and why there were so many problems. So we have this video on screen now, right, showing it, right. And as usual, one of Halo Infinite's biggest development problems was labor. A large chunk of 343 workers were on contracts and couldn't stay longer than 18 months due to Microsoft's restrictions. Full-time promotions were rare. So the studio was constantly losing talent and knowledge. So it looks like, of course, subcontracting, right? They were getting interns, I'm sure, right? So what do you expect, right? Because if you do that, you don't have to pay them for so long. The entirety of Microsoft has had a long history of using. I didn't catch that quickly enough of using and being sued for abusing contractors. So there you go, right? So they're probably getting cats straight out of college, straight out of university, paying them very little to get this done, right? Then this isn't just Microsoft issue or 343 issue. This happens throughout the whole industry, right? Where these companies, they go ahead and hire these young developers, and they just abuse the shit out of them, right? They get them to do crunch, fucking have them sleeping in the office, all sort of shit to get the game done. So Jason Schreier, right, continues saying a couple tidbits that were trimmed from the article. 343's toolset, Faber, was so difficult to use that they spent months considering a switch to Unreal.
Hmm.
The game was delayed multiple times. One early plan was to release multiplayer in 2019 and campaign in 2020. Interesting, because that would mean that in that case, multiplayer would have released on the one consoles, right? The Xbox One and the Xbox One X, right? It wouldn't have released now for the series consoles, right? Because series consoles came out last year. Very interesting, but I think they made the right decision with that, releasing it at least with the series consoles, getting a little bit more power, and at the same time buying themselves some more time. But yeah, I mean, this is something that happens all the time. I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm not here to say that because it happens all the time, it should be accepted. It's just something that comes with that territory, with that industry, right? Just so much that needs to get done, and sometimes so little time because the publisher, right, they want to go ahead and appease to the shareholders, and they have these cutoff dates that they have to reach. It's just pretty bad, man. So the limit is because they want to avoid the permatemp situation that got them sued a while back, but they insist on having X percentage of headcount be contractors because corporations. So yeah, they'll usually sometimes tell these guys, hey, if you do a really good job, we might offer you a contract here, we might offer you an opportunity here, and it doesn't happen, right? And practically what happens is They abuse the hell out of these people, right? Having them work insane hours. I don't want to say necessarily insane, working conditions, because I'm sure it's not as bad, but the fact that you have to be there for so long, and the job, it has to get done in such little time, that definitely does still affect working conditions. Even though you might be in a nice environment where you have heat and water and things like that, right? The basic essentials, but the fact that this is happening obviously goes to show that these games, number one, it's not that they're not easy to make necessarily, but they take up a lot of time, and because they take up a lot of time, that is what kind of makes it not easy to make, because there's so much pressure to get things done when they need to be done, and it's not up to you to decide when they need to be done. It's up to the parent company that decides when it needs to be done, and if it's not done by then, it ain't gonna be pretty, man. So I don't know, bro. I know you know a lot about topics like these, bro. What do you think of these things, these leaks that the developers for Halo went ahead and put out there?
I think they were just going for, like you said earlier, they're definitely hiring like it's not necessarily like college kids. It could be like a sweatshop developing team from like another country and stuff. I mean, they might say like, oh yeah, we've had them in the office and stuff, but most of these cats when they start doing this sort of things, they usually outsource. So there was probably like more stuff than what this like the Twitter's elaborates. There was probably like communication issues.
Hmm.
They probably had a situation where like you have to reteach people like the engine. I think that was on his second one that he said that it took time for them to learn the engine, the language again, and that's what they were going to go Unreal, because Unreal uses like an FME type system that you just click and drag, and you can just set parameters and stuff. You don't have to like code monkey it and stuff and crunch it. So I think that definitely I can see that, because like again, I keep bringing up mine because mine does stupid shit too, and they'll bring in these cats, and they don't know anything. They hire them for like a couple of months or whatever, and then they won't do a good job. But luckily
Hmm.
for them in this situation, and I forgot which Twitter post he has that he mentioned that at least luckily the people who were working on it, they did care about what they were doing. So then the next guy who they bought, or girl who they brought, could kind of correlate what was going on, and then they were able to finish up whatever the hell they were trying to get ready for the game. But yeah, I can see definitely. Well, I mean, they were getting sued for it. I think what was it, like 49 million? Was it 94 million?
Yeah,
What it
Microsoft were getting
was?
sued for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were getting sued for it. So that means they've been doing this for a while, and apparently they didn't learn, and they're still doing it. So I can see them, nickel and diming, being cheap because of those reasons. So I don't know. I think a lot of, like you said, a lot of companies do it. They don't learn. It's
Hmm.
messed up. But luckily they did a decent job. Um, developing this game. But if you that's the weird part is if you go to like Steam, people are complaining about the net coding because of the inconsistency of the damage. I mean, you can cover that later if you want, but I mean that there's some little hiccups here and there, but I think eventually they will face that eventually, unless nothing else breaks. But yeah, I don't. I never been in that position, so I can't really relate. But I'm can't imagine it sucks, especially if they're holding a carrot over your head, right?
Exactly.
And these people probably don't even get health. They're not getting health insurance or anything of that. You know what I'm saying? So they're just working for a big chunk of money up front, and they're just saying, "Hey, you got to do this," And who knows what the penalty will be if they don't, they can't meet these stupid, unrealistic deadlines. They probably don't get paid, or they'll go back to the company and say, "Hey, we don't want this guy to rotate anymore. We can't bring him back." And so that
Right.
then that person will be out of spot. But if like but even worse, if you're an intern, you may imagine, right? You're busting your butt trying to be like cool, and they're like, "Okay, thanks," we'll don't call out, we'll call you.
Right.
Next thing you know, they're like, "Psych."
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. It definitely does,
Mm.
man. And it's unfortunate. It really is. but it's nothing new. It really isn't. And the bigger these games get, even like Call of Duty, like you said, man, they want to do so much that it breaks the game. So you have a lot
Right.
of you don't have a lot of room forever either, because you have it's like a revolving door. If he can't meet demands, we'll get somebody else that can. But now they have to piggyback off what the other person was doing. And it definitely has an effect, right? It could definitely cause issues in the game. So I don't know, man. Like, at least the game, honestly, it didn't release broken. Let's just say that, right? Because Halo is not
Mhm.
broken. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Halo Infinite is broken. It's not. Compared to the other two games that released this year, right? In terms of FPSs, it's not
Mhm.
broken. It's actually the best of the three. But
Right, right. The standards are like so low, but this definitely is runs better. I haven't had a single hell. I haven't even crashed. Like on Steam,
no,
I see the forum people are saying, "Oh, I'm crashing every 2 minutes" or something. Like
I
I don't
haven't
know. I don't know
crashed.
what I don't know what they're doing, but I haven't crashed. Knock on wood.
Yeah,
Game ran pretty smooth. I don't have any delays. I don't know. It runs hell. It runs better than Star Citizen. And Star Citizen is super old, and
yeah,
and it runs on the CryEngine 1. And that game, like man, that game makes me overheat and all sorts of crazy stuff. But this game just came out and it ran pretty good.
yeah,
I haven't knock on wood.
yeah. I haven't
Hopefully
had
it
any
stays that way.
issues. Yeah, I haven't had
Right.
any issues. And that's a good thing. But we'll see. We'll see, right? I mean, the game is just maybe about a month old, right? Since it's been released to the public, so a lot of time